It's attacked overnight as Israel's bombardment of Gaza intensifies. The Israeli military says it's killed around 1,500 Hamas fighters who poured in from Gaza. But many more militants survived, and the search for hostages they took back to Gaza continues. Plus, the conflict spreads well beyond the Middle East, with thousands taking to the streets of London. Also ahead, Sir Keir Starmer's promised to fix Britain as he wraps up Labour's conference with an attempt to persuade the country he's a Prime Minister in waiting. A very good morning to you. The sheer scale of Hamas's invasion of Israel has become clear this morning after the Israeli military revealed just how many militants have been discovered in the country. Israel says the border with Gaza itself, which the militants broke through early on Saturday, is now almost fully under control. 900 Israelis are now confirmed to have died in the attack. The fate of scores of hostages taken into Gaza is unknown. Gaza's health ministry says 687 people have been killed in retaliatory strikes by Israel. Well, the Israeli Defense Forces say the bodies of 1,500 Hamas militants have been found on Israeli territory. 200 targets in Gaza were attacked by the Israeli Air Force overnight, specifically in the Uni and Rimal areas, where 2 mosques have been destroyed. One Israeli said was housing weapons for Hamas. The other, it said, was an operational headquarters for the militant group. The United Nations says nearly 190,000 Palestinians have been displaced by the Israel-Hamas war overall. Well, speaking to Sky News earlier, Foreign Secretary James Cleverly said he disapproved of any balancing act between the actions of Hamas and Israeli forces.
Palestinian voices, particularly those in leadership positions, should criticise the appalling behaviour, the atrocious actions that have been perpetrated by Hamas, these indiscriminate killings, these murders, these kidnaps, these terrorist actions should be condemned by the leadership of the Palestinian Authority, because otherwise there will be this perception that all Palestinians support Hamas, and they don't, and that all Palestinians support this action, and I know that they don't. The idea that somehow there is an equivalence, there is a kind of a balancing act between the actions of the Israeli government in their self-defence and the actions of Hamas in their terrorist
Didn't say that.
Is completely inappropriate.
Foreign Secretary there earlier with Kay Burley. Well, our Middle East correspondent Alistair Bunkle joins me now live from Jerusalem. And Alistair, this goes into its 4th day. Is there a change in the sense of the mood there in Israel, particularly as the border reportedly is secured?
Well, that will come as a huge relief to Israelis. It was, so much of what has happened over the last 72 hours has been extraordinary, but the fact that it took the Israelis a really quite long time in order to get to the point where they could say they feel they've secured their own borders is quite something in and of itself. And in doing so, they estimate they killed around 1,500 Hamas fighters. So that shows you the scale of the attack on Saturday, because bear in mind, many of the people who came over the border will have then returned to Gaza as well. So, I mean, we could be talking, somewhere close to 2,000 fighters came into Israel. Having now secured the south, I think the focus will now turn to sort of what comes next in military terms. And I think we're probably on the cusp of the next phase of this operation. The Israeli Defense Forces, as you'd expect, aren't giving away what that might be. Of course, they'd want to retain some sort of operational surprise. But everybody expects it to be a land invasion of Gaza in some form. And then that leads us on to further questions. What would the objectives of that operation be? How far would they push into Gaza? How long would they stay there for? And what would the ripple effect be around the region, particularly the West Bank and Lebanon?
Ali, I'm interested in your take on how Israeli leadership has reacted to the response from the international community, in particular the Western international community. There was the joint statement late yesterday from Biden, Macron, Scholz, Maloney, Sunak. Are they, at least in light of this appalling situation, relatively pleased that they've got quite a clear backing from that Western international community?
Oh, they're delighted, and they feel very warmed by it. I think when Israel carries out the more sort of usual military operations in Gaza, this is not usual, but when they do carry out those kind of operations, although they wouldn't admit it, I think there is always an awareness that they can only push it so far because of the inevitability of civilian casualties. That is often why, behind the scenes, talks go on to try and limit any action. This time round feels different. Projecting the flag of Israel onto 10 Downing Street, onto the Empire State Building, etc., are signals of deep solidarity. The Americans sending a carrier group to sit off the coast and pledging them any kind of weaponry that they need, again, is fundamental sort of military support for them. And I think that will give Netanyahu confidence that he will have backing to do whatever he feels he needs or wants to do.
Ali Bunkel, as ever, thanks so much for that. Well, as we've just been hearing from Ali, Israeli officials say they've secured the border with Gaza and mobilised 300,000 soldiers in just 48 hours. Our international affairs editor Dominic Waghorn sent this update from close to the border.
We are just a few miles north of the northern border that Gaza has with Israel, and what we have behind me is the most extraordinary build-up of Israeli heavy armour. On the high ground over there, I've counted at least 40 Israeli tanks, but there are two columns of them stretching well beyond the horizon, so it's impossible to say how many more there are over there. There are also armoured personnel carriers and D9 bulldozers over there. Those are the armoured bulldozers the Israelis use to punch their way through busy residential areas, densely populated areas of Gaza. And I think that gives a sense of what the Gazans have coming. There's also the roar of fighter jets overhead as they continue their aerial bombardment of Gaza. And there are dugout areas here. They're digging out with other bulldozers, presumably to give some kind of cover and protection to the artillery they're going to bring in, which they will also use to pound Gaza. What is striking about this is the numbers. I've covered Middle Eastern wars for getting on for 2 decades. I've never seen this amount of heavy armour, Israeli heavy armour, in one place. But also in previous operations that they've carried out in Gaza, they have kept the media well away from the tanks, at least for the first few days. Here they're quite happy for us to film, and clearly this is a deliberate show of force. What the Israelis have said this morning in their briefing is that they are going to be responding very aggressively in Gaza to what Hamas has done, and that this is a game changer. It's a war that will be a game changer. And clearly, from what we're seeing here, they mean that, and it gives a very clear sense, I think, of what is to come. What is going to be a punishing, very difficult conflict for Israelis, but for the Gazan civilians living in densely populated areas in northern Gaza and beyond, the sight of this coming their way must be terrifying.
Well, Dominic's also been assessing the status of the Israelis who've been taken hostage by Hamas, and he's spoken to one man who's scared for 3 generations of his family who've all been kidnapped. He told us he now wants to join the fight.
10 hours after the attack from Gaza began, Palestinians were still rampaging through a Jewish border community, pillaging, destroying and hunting Israelis. Behind one house they find a terrified mother trying to protect her children.
The first time that I saw the picture, I couldn't believe, I couldn't comprehend what I saw, and then I looked at another pictures, and it was very clear that this is my cousin Shiri, and the 2 little children. Kfir is 9 months old, and Ariel is 4 years old, being held by Hamas. There is blood on their blanket, there is blood on the kidnappers.
It wasn't just Yossi's cousin and her children. 3 generations of this family have been taken. Shiri and Yadin Bibas, their young sons Ariel and Kafir, and her father and mother, who has Parkinson's, kidnapped without her medication. Their relatives are beside themselves with worry.
My fears is that they separated them, that they killed them, that they are injured, that we won't see them again, that we won't even get any piece of information with them anymore, and we will stay in this blank forever.
What is it like to feel like this?
It's like a lion in a cage. I'm walking back and forth in my house, waiting for something to happen, waiting for somebody to call me, to say that they have any information from my family, waiting for somebody to call me from the IDF to say that they need my help and recruit me.
And you want to go and fight?
And I want to go and fight. I want to go to help my country. I want to do whatever I can. And I know that all my friends and all the people that I know will do the same thing.
The same footage shows other Israeli civilians on this kibbutz being abducted by Palestinians and forced back to Gaza. This is late afternoon. The attacks began in early morning. But apart from deserted tanks, there is still no sign of the Israeli army. Yossi and many others want answers about how that could happen.
We had defense on Gaza, we had walls on Gaza, we had the intelligence, we have the military, we have planes, we have helicopters, we have tanks, we have everything. And the IDF, for the first couple of hours, it's like we had no army. The IDF wasn't exist.
As many as 100 Israelis were seized and taken to Gaza that day, say their government. Nothing has been heard of them since. Dominic Waghorn, Sky News, Ashdod, southern Israel.
Well, we'll be bringing you an Israel-Hamas war special programme live from Jerusalem at 9 p.m. tonight. Make sure you stay with Sky News for that, and throughout the day, many more live reports. Also, if you scan the QR code on the screen now, you can listen to the latest Sky News Daily podcast with Neil Patterson, who's joined by our Middle East correspondent Alistair Bunkle to take a closer look at the war and its significance. You can subscribe to the Daily wherever you get your podcasts. Now, let's get a live report now from the Labour Party conference in Liverpool. Today we will be hearing from the Home Secretary, also from the Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer. Let's bring in our Mari Aurora, who's there on the ground at conference. And Mari, before we get to a preview of what's to come at the conference today, I'm sure once again over the last 24 hours there's been a lot of discussion of the Israel-Hamas war.
Yes, absolutely. It is very much at the forefront of a lot of Labour MPs' minds. We speak to Labour MPs behind the scenes. They are quite surprised, pleasantly surprised, at the level of unity from the party when it comes to Keir Starmer and the Labour Party's stance on the events unfolding in Israel and Gaza. We saw Pat McFadden on the breakfast show this morning insisting again, re-establishing, reiterating Keir Starmer's position on Israel. But there's a slight issue with a lack of clarity about David Lammy, Shadow Foreign Secretary, potentially for a future Foreign Secretary, about whether he will or he will not appear on a platform later today with the Palestinian ambassador, who in so many words has said that Israel has had it coming. Now, Pat McFadden couldn't confirm or deny whether David Lammy would be appearing on a platform with that ambassador. Take a listen.
The Shadow Foreign Secretary has the same view as me, which is that this was a completely unwarranted attack, that Israel has a right to respond, to defend itself, and to retrieve the hostages who've done no one any harm and have been taken into the Gaza Strip against their will. And that is what will unfold now as Israel responds to this completely unwarranted attack last weekend.
You see there, Pat McFadden not being clear on exactly what David Lammy is going to do today, so I think that will be definitely one to watch, and therefore if he does appear on that platform, if there'll be any fallout from that. But as you say, Wilfred, the issue with the Labour Party is they are so keen to make sure that they come across in the right way when it comes to their stance on Israel, because they are nonetheless still scarred, traumatised by their past when it comes to the anti-Semitism that was found under Jeremy Corbyn, and that is very much at the forefront of their minds.
And what's on the agenda specifically today, Mari, for the conference?
So today for the conference in Liverpool, Keir Starmer is giving his big leaders speech at about 2 o'clock. That is his pitch to the members and to the nation to try and show that he is ready to be the next Prime Minister. He is ready to enter the doors of number 10, and he is ready to what he sees as give Britain its future back. So the theme of all of this is all about a decade of renewal. That's what Keir Starmer is saying, suggesting that essentially he wants to achieve 2 terms to be able to rebuild what he sees as a broken Britain that the Tories have created. So there's plans about having more police officers on the streets, zero tolerance policy to antisocial behaviour, cracking down on shoplifting. There's also some promises around plans to build more towns, also increased devolution for local leaders and local mayors to try and give local people more power over their own lives. But also he's going to be criticising Rishi Sunak's plans to scrap the northern leg of HS2. But it's important to remember the Labour Party have said they are not going to reintroduce that themselves. So we'll see how far that criticism does go. But also, Keir Starmer is very, very keen to say we are no longer the party of protest. We are now a serious party ready for government. Those days of being a party of protest are over. And he wants to characterise the Labour Party as being healers. He wants to characterise them as being modernisers, and he wants to characterise them as being builders. So the real question is, what will the reaction in the hall be later today, and will the public believe it when we know the Tory government are still trying to say that Keir Starmer flip-flops too much when it comes to policy?
Mari Aurora, thank you so much for that, and we do look forward to those speeches to come, and we'll have them for you live here on Sky News. We are now going to return to the developing situation in the Middle East and in Gaza specifically, and speak to Dr. Abdel Hamad. He's a surgeon from the Royal Liverpool University Hospital who arrived in Gaza on Friday to carry out a kidney transplant and is now stuck there. Thank you so much for joining me, Dr. Hamad. Just very quickly for a bit of background, you travel to the region and to Gaza specifically quite often to help in medical ways?
Yeah, I've been doing this for the past 10 years. Every 3-4 months I come here, do a few kidney transplants during a few days, and then go back to my normal work in Liverpool.
And presumably, if you just got there on Friday, I mean, to state the obvious, obviously you had no idea this was coming. What was your sense of what was your reaction when you started to hear about the attacks happening on Saturday morning?
I mean, at the beginning, when I heard the explosions in the morning, in fact, it waked me up, and I phoned the director of the Shifa hospital. Said I heard explosions. It is still safe to do the operations. And he said to me, yeah, this always happens. But obviously, within a few minutes, it was clear that this time it is a big incident.
And clearly there's been a fierce reaction already from Israel. Have you felt the force of that where you are?
Yeah, especially last night. I mean, there was a lot of airstrikes, bombardments around us, and in fact the building was shaking. This morning I haven't been out of the shelter for a couple of days, and today I have to go to the pharmacy to bring some medications for the people here, and just walked across the compound. I haven't been outside, and the debris, the glass in the yard and in the other buildings, it's like aftermath of a earthquake.
Do you feel at risk yourself right now? Are you scared?
Yes, obviously we are at risk, but I mean, saying that, probably I am in the safest place in Gaza at the moment, but sometimes there isn't a safe place at all in Gaza.
And are you fearful of there being a ground invasion, or just the missile strikes continuing and escalating before you're able to leave?
Yeah, obviously that will complicate the situation completely. I mean, obviously the number of casualties will be much higher. And also the prospects of getting out from here outside, it becomes, you can hear the bombardments probably now, but yeah, the prospects of getting out of Gaza becomes less likely.
And if you were able to, would you want to leave Gaza right now? And I just wonder how hard that is with the blockade that's gone around. Do you feel completely trapped?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've been trying to get out. I mean, I've been in touch with the Foreign Office and with the British Embassy in Jerusalem. We are trying to make efforts, and the UN here are making efforts trying to get us out from Gaza.
And I wanted to ask as well about the other impact of the Israeli retaliation, and that, of course, as part of the blockade, has been to cut off electricity, water, food supplies. Have you felt the impact of that almost immediately as well? Is the hospital able to function?
At the moment, we're in the shelter, we have electricity and internet and food and water. But my colleagues who are at their homes or other relatives or neighbors' home, they don't have electricity, they don't have water, and the supplies are very scarce here.
Just to wrap things up, and I understand if you find it hard to answer this question, but clearly the events of the last few days have created a sense of unity in Israel. I just wonder what you sense the feeling is in Gaza. Is there unity towards the actions? Is there anger towards them because it might make peace harder to come by? Or is there still a sort of sense that there's an anti-Israel feeling that kind of supersedes everything else?
I mean, I'm not a politician, as you know. I'm a doctor. But speaking to the people, I think at this time, everyone comes together. And I don't hear any voices which dissent voices at this time.
No voices that dissent the actions of Hamas?
Yeah.
Interesting. Dr. Hamad, we thank you for joining us and wish you a safe passage home to the UK.
Thank you very much.
You're watching Sky News today. Still to come, protests against Israel in London lead to 3 arrests. We'll have that angle. The Prime Minister hits out at Hamas as prayers for Israeli victims at a synagogue in London. And we visit the festival site in southern Israel, which was targeted in the first attacks by Hamas on Saturday. Back, Rishi Sunak attended a prayer service for Israel last night, saying he wanted to stand with the Jewish people as they mourn. Meanwhile, 3 people were arrested during Free Palestine demonstrations, which have taken place in central London and outside Downing Street. There are now concerns about tensions between the Palestinian and Jewish community in this country. Sky's communities correspondent Becky Johnson has this report.
Fresh graffiti in the Jewish heart of North London, and a sense of old wounds now reopened. A suspected burglary at a kosher restaurant left an uneasy community concerned that this was motivated by anti-Semitism. As police stepped up their patrols, for many in this part of the city, the attack on Israel is personal, and there's fear that ordinary people will be targeted in their workplaces or at Jewish schools.
I heard this morning that a lady was taking her child to school, and as she was dropping the child off to school, a car went past shouting Allah Akbar.
Michael has family in Israel. He's had bad news about 2 of his relatives.
One of them, they found his body. The other one, we don't know what happened to him. He's disappeared. We don't know, we have no idea what happened to him.
Religious leaders say across Europe, Jewish communities feel threatened.
A friend of mine in Barcelona contacted me saying, Rabbi, don't go out in the streets of London, be careful. And I think there is a sense we have to be careful, we have to be vigilant.
But at a large pro-Palestine demonstration outside the Israeli embassy, people wanted their voices to be heard.
That's why I came here, I raised my voice, stop the war, stop the war. We want peace, we want to live together, we don't want to kill each other. That's enough, enough, enough.
This is not about anti-Semitism. Standing up for the issue of Palestine is asking for justice, respect for international law, and an end to occupation.
At its peak, 5,000 people joined the protest, setting off flares and fireworks. A group then made their way to Downing Street, where they set fire to an Israeli flag. In Liverpool, outside the Labour Party conference, there was an angry exchange.
Stop the murdering of innocent Israelis and Jews! Stop it! Why? Stupid woman!
The Home Secretary has said there'll be zero tolerance for anti-Semitism, and the Prime Minister spoke at a service at a synagogue in Finchley.
When the Jewish people are under attack in their homeland, Jewish people everywhere can feel less safe. We've already seen vile words on our streets and attempts to stir up community tensions. I say, not here. Not in Britain. Not in our country. Not in this century.
As Parliament was lit up in the colours of the Israeli flag, in communities around the country, there's pain, tension and the fear of what will happen next. Becky Johnson, Sky News, Central London.
Time for a quick look at the weather now.
Warm memories wherever you go. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Southern parts look mostly fine again today, while the north will see yet more rain. It'll be warm for many this afternoon, very warm in the southeast of England, but the wind will pick up from the north and the west. Much of southern Britain will be dry and sunny, but misty low cloud will plague some coasts. Elsewhere, expect more in the way of cloud with some rain around, which will be prolonged across Scotland, northern England and Donegal. That's your weather.
The weather. Sponsored by Qatar Airways.
You're watching Sky News today, coming up as Israel orders a complete siege of the Gaza Strip. I'll speak to a man working to help refugees in the occupied West Bank. We'll be right back.
Tricky spot, no problem. Like a
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Vedasse.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghanaman Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Turn it on. Turn it up. Broadcasting live online.
Show them you got the Coco set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
Are you ready to turn it up?
This is Starr Radio UK.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smile, your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and the Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Love for you runs deep.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great.
Starr Radio.
You hold the world in your hand.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute you and welcome you to the Tuesday edition of the morning show. Today is the 10th of 2023. That is the 10th of October 2023 with the time now 10:38 from the House of London. Starr, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
The morning
Archie. Well, let me say good morning to my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, and my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. I'm seeing to everything, making sure that everything is ticking along nicely. Francis, good morning to you. And let's say good morning to our presenters of Starr Radio, okay? Mr. Frank Davis in town, good morning to you too. My brother Felix all the way in Aberdeen, massive good morning. Kojo, good morning to you. Mr. Dan Chaburi and all you wonderful people here in London, I salute you. Dr. Martin, good morning. Mr. Kitiosi, yes, last Friday I saw you, but you didn't see me. Yeah. Good morning to you and the team who came to that event as well. And let me also say good morning to Bishop Adeshina all the way in Lagos, Nigeria, and all your colleagues at the RBS office there in Lagos. I salute you. Anthony Adedeji, good morning. Aziz, good morning. Pastor Mo, good morning. Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, massive good morning to you. And also to Lakunle, good morning. Hey, my Rachel, good morning to you. Rachel, I hope you are doing very, very well as well. And to all you wonderful people whose name I've not mentioned, let me put it this way: all protocol observed, and welcome to the program. But from now till 12:30, we're going to be bringing you everything I need to know, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar. To the So we're making sure that everything is lined up very well for you. But for those of you who have tuned in for the first time to listen to us on this show, this is how the program goes. I'm going to bring you the quote for the day. The weather forecast will follow suit. Then the travel update as well. We'll move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. It's known as the Global Trotting. Then after that, we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in at 11 o'clock to bring you updates from Nigeria with a lovely information that we had yesterday, the day before yesterday, and yesterday pertaining to Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho and his arrival at Germany now as well. So it's quite an interesting one. So yesterday, celebration on all the platforms that I belong to with Olayomi Koiki, and I say well done there. And then after that, we'll look at some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Whatever is happening in the Middle East, a worrying trend, which at the moment has caused rising fuel prices. Or crude oil prices, which advertently affects fuel prices, right? Good. We'll be looking at all that. As I did say earlier on, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar. If anything is making the headlines, I promise you one thing for sure, that we're going to be touching on it. So share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. Once again, welcome to the Tuesday edition of the morning show. The quote for the day says, your character is the real you. It is who you are in terms of behavior. So what character are you displaying? Maybe you are, cavaliering in a way. That is not the real you. Let me know the real you so I know what to be dealing with. But at times, the real you is not a nice one. Now you need to try to work on it so that it comes out nice, right? Good. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, let's move on straight on to the weather forecast for you, those of us here in London and the sides of England. So on the weather front this morning, for those of us here, this afternoon will continue dry and sunny spells will become more frequent with little cloud around to end the day. It's going to be continuing to be mild. Tonight will turn increasingly cloudy, but it will stay dry. Isolated patches of mist and fog may develop locally. A mild night with gentle to moderate southwesterly winds expected as well. Topic temperature 23 degrees, otherwise going to be 14 degrees. UV level moderate and pollution low as well. But as we say, make hay while the sun shines, because tomorrow there's going to be rain. And the temperatures will... sunset is going to be 18, 19, and sunrise for tomorrow morning, 07, 15 hours. That brings us to the end of the weather forecast for you today. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And that's what next. Okay, let me take you straight to the roads as well, or your travels, whatever it might be. For those of you in London, well, when it comes to the travels, or those of you using the major roads in London, A316, A4, A40 has got serious delays. If you can avoid them, do your best to do so. But that aside, all the others, no exceptional delays. And on the underground this morning, apart from the district line that has got no service between Parsons Green to Wimbledon, while they fix a 40 train at Wimbledon. Severe delays, Edgware Road to Parsons Green, and good service on the rest of the line though. That aside, all the other underground lines are running good service. DLR, London Tramlink and London Overground, good service there as well. And that brings us straight to the river bus as well, which has got a reduced service on the Woolwich Ferry. That aside, all the others are running a very, very good service there. And when it comes to the London cable car, as you know, usual, that is their norm, good service throughout. But keep your eyes on the roads, as we keep you navigated. I promise I'll be on the Starr Radio Travel Up there, come to every weekday from 10:40, and it's now 10:44. We are now on the final segment of the travel updates, and that is the National Rail. So what is happening on the National Rail this morning? C2C, East Midlands Railway, Great Western Railway, Greater Anglia, Southwestern Railway, Southern and Thameslink have all got minor delays. Also, cross country, First Transpennan Express, London Northeastern Railway, and ScotRail. Also, Northern Rail have all got special service. So if you can avoid them, do your best. But if you are, that is all, you are bound on it, you can't do anything about it. We say that continue to keep your dials logged on Star Radio, guys, and when there are any changes, we'll bring it to the phone. But other side, all the others are running a very good service there. So on that note, as I say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Star Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Otta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 10 minutes to the top of the hour, or 10:50, and it's now time for Global Trotting. With some nice jazz tune in the background from the ICGC Holy Ghost Temple. Okie dokie. Now let's move on. Let's have a look at what is happening across the globe. But let me take this opportunity to say happy birthday to Chief Doctor Sunday Igboho. We thank God for your life as an advocate for your people, standing up for your people. Of course, it has cost you a lot, but we thank God for your life. A selfless person. That is some of the comments that have come through. But we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki will be throwing more light on that as well. But if you want to wish him anything, feel free. Just post it on any of the platforms that we are broadcasting on, and I promise you one thing for sure, that I'm gonna read that out. Okay, so now let's move on straight to some of the stories that is making the rounds that we're going to be looking at this morning. Now, when it comes to Nigeria will become net exporter of petroleum product in 2024. That is what the NNPC is talking about. Really? That would be great, isn't it? Well, we have the president saying that, well, he was going to the refineries, some in the Delta area or wherever, he's going to revamp it and all that stuff. Now, what is he actually going to be doing? Especially when we see past government or past president throwing monies at it, and the government running it, and for that reason everything going pear-shaped. But when a blind man says he's going to be stoned, he's going to stone you, you have to be careful. Maybe he's got his foot on that stone. Who knows? A Tinubu's speech at Chatham House contradicts Keyamo's attempt to defend certificate forgery case. Well, he didn't know that was going to be coming out. That's why he told the university or the courts in the US that, please don't release this, because you release this, it's going to cause lots of trouble for me. But well, someone will say the animal has bear. Now, Wike slams EU for 2023 elections interference, asks bloc to support Nigeria's economy. You see, when you see that, you know what, these players love you when they are playing, because he's in there. See how he's singing their praises of the Nigerian government and saying that bashing the EU. Well, I know that we have to be bashing them for some of their stands, but well. Now, about 100,000 Nigerian students left for UK varsities in 5 years. That's what a minister has said. It's interesting. How have they come by all those monies to do so, and the costs and everything? But when they finish, would they want to come back to Nigeria with all that is going on there to come and do what? They'd rather use their education or whatever experience that they've got acquired to help the economy here and other parts of the world. CDHR takes Laha, that's Lagos State House of Assembly, to task over Burmese murder and Mohbad's death. Okay, lots more going to be coming your way from there when we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in exactly at 11 o'clock. All right, then. So now let's move on straight to some of the other stories that is making the rounds there as well. Court disqualifies Sylvia from contesting Bayelsa governorship election. The federal government plans 12 more visa centers and passport home delivery. Interesting. Nigeria to become net exporter of petrol. That's we talked about that earlier on. I remember back in the day in Ghana, most of the fuel when I was there, most of the fuel was from Nigeria, because it has got a distinct smell. The one from Nigeria. I think those of us who were growing at the time, you can tell. Sonny Olutu Lagbaja Army's dedication has raised confidence of Nigerians. Army's dedication has raised confidence in Nigerians. Really? Well, let's see what they are doing, because somebody will say we're not seeing anything different at the moment. The election day in Liberia. Liberians have started heading to the polls today to vote in the presidential and parliamentary election. First results are expected on, let me tell you, okay, first results are, okay, the 2.5 million registered voters set to cast ballots for general election. Incumbent President George Weah faces 19 candidates to win the presidency. A candidate must get at least 50% plus one of the votes cast. If no party reaches the threshold, the two parties with the most votes will have to go for a round-up. But it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Another story is making the rounds as well. Kenya court puts Haiti deployment on temporary hold. The UN Security Council last week approved the Kenyan-led multinational security forces for the troubled country, with Nairobi promising 1,000 police officers on the ground. But now, a Kenyan court has halted it. Ethiopia Irma celebrate their formerly oppressed traditions. And in South Africa, Muslim leaders voice solidarity with Palestine in new conflict with Israel. In Morocco puts earthquake challenges. Well, there's lots that is needed, but with everything that is happening across the globe, boy oh boy, did I say more? Then in Ghana as well, plot to oust IGP. Atacha is biased. He keeps making prejudicial comments. Dan Paris lawyer is saying. It's interesting if you follow that development in Ghana. I'll be telling you more about that. Colombo's decision to increase dialysis costs justified. Inputs are expensive, Professor Frimpong Boateng is saying. Is he going to now go back to his core mandate as being a physician? But Alex Mensah, one of the plotters who's were caught on tape plotting to oust the IGP, he's saying that he will be vindicated. Now, what has the IGP done? What has the IGP done? Is he doing well for the country? Somebody will say yes. If he's doing well, what is all that? Is it because they are saying that it's not part of the, it's not a member of the ruling government, and therefore you think that, oh, it's about time that they oust him? Well, if that is how they're going to be going about it, but well, when you talk about African politics, boy oh boy, we talk about institutions, and every one of the institutions has got government's hand in there manipulating and doing all sorts. But KSTS students threaten demo over lack of furniture. The minority are crying for somebody to remove because it's past retirement. The minority in parliament has demanded immediate removal of managing director for National Investment Bank Samuel Sapong in order to save the bank. According to the minority, Mr. Sapong has passed his mandatory retirement age, and that should make way for fresh energy to save the bank. Well, the bank is somehow going through some tumultuous time, but hey, you want to know more? Stay tuned. Don't you go away. Lots more going to be coming your way from there. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Okay, now moving on straight to some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world as well. Israel says Gaza border finally secured as airstrikes continue. I mean, we now have information coming through that there's a siege, and therefore they said they've cut electricity, cut water, cut food, cut medicine. So how are the people going to be surviving? It looks like some of the stories back in the day in the Bible where they said a city was besieged, and then therefore the people didn't have anything, and it got to a point where people were clamoring for what do we call it, looking for I mean food to eat, and it had to happen that some people had to kill their own children. They were going to do that. One killed their child, and then when was the turn for the other one to kill their child so that they can eat, he decided, I'm not going to be doing that. But you want to know more from all that, don't you go away. No electricity, food, water for gas or gas for Gaza, says Israel. And over 1,000 dead as Afghans dig for quake survivors. And dozens die in a strike on Myanmar refugee camp as well. The ruling military junta has been accused of carrying out artillery attacks. Now, with what is going on in Israel, in the Gaza Strip, that war that seems to be going on, it seems to be overshadowing whatever is going on elsewhere, and therefore people are not paying attention. And then now it's like, yes, there is a big win or something, so let's take advantage of that and cause more mayhem. And that seems to be what is happening. What do you think about all that? Starr Radio UK. Joe Biden has been interviewed over handling of classified files as well. This is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. In the UK here as well, more than 10 Britons were dead or missing in Israel. Jake Malawi is among those who are missing, and the family of Dan Darlington believe he is dead as well. Now, one in UK faces 5 years of high interest rates. The UK is expected to have the highest inflation of the US, France, Germany, Canada, Italy, and Japan. Well, the government is saying that they will make sure that they have inflation by the close of the year. But it looks like it's a mirage. Let's see. Now, Labour needs the decade in number 10 to fix UK. Starmer to say he will promise to accelerate building an unused urban land if Labour wins the next election. So this and a lot more going to be coming your way this morning. So wherever you are, stay tuned. Don't you touch the dial. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Alarming number of calls over bed bugs, says council. Boy, oh boy. So if you live in the council estate, please check it out. Okay, then we're going to be taking some musical break. And once we come back, we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining us to bring us all that you need to know with what is happening in Nigeria. And the fact that we have Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho, who has also he's been set free and he's been able to leave the place, Benin. So wherever you are, stay tuned. Don't tap the dial at all. I hope that you enjoyed